For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringWater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. The Big A, Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling, on an absolutely spectacular first Saturday here at Belmont Park. Good card. Looking forward to the day. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I was looking forward to this card.
Oh, yeah, I'm
I
glad
like
to
this
hear
card
it.
since they drew it Wednesday.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't like it right away?
I was fired up. Yeah, I took Wednesday off from radio.
Really?
Yeah.
How did that work out?
It was good. My throat was bothering me. The
Feeling better now?
allergies. Yeah, my allergies been terrible, and took off. Got some work done anyway.
Glad to hear it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're ready? Raring to go?
I'm raring to go. Yeah, had a good start to the day.
Yeah, you got to spend some quality time with me even before.
Lost lost another 2.5 pounds this week.
Was that what'd you lose by spending an hour, spending 15 minutes in the car with me?
We're down 22. We're down 22 since the beginning of March. So.
Okay. We'll have a meter for that. Well, you're over at Naira Bets. Head over to NairaBets.com if you're not a member of Naira Bets. Use the promo code Derby25, and we'll not only match the $200 your initial deposit, we will give you a $25 bet for Kentucky Derby Day. NairaBets.com. Get involved. Support racing. The most important thing you can do is keep the money in the game. We have the cross-country pick 5 today. 3 from Belmont Park, sandwiched around 2 from Oaklawn Park. All races will be shown on America's Day at the Races. And speaking of America's Day at the Races, it's an extravaganza today.
Every race will be shown on America's Day at the Races.
We will be showing all the Belmont races, all the Oaklawn races, all 11, and all 10 from opening night at Churchill Downs with their first post time at 6 o'clock. A veritable plethora of people will be participating in that show. We've even got some new faces, or one new face on that show. That'll be 1 to 11 on FS2.
There might be some rain at Churchill today, so keep an eye.
Supposed to rain tonight, right?
Yeah, keep an eye to the sky.
What's the phone saying? I thought it was supposed to be a rain
William Walker's on the turf. That's the opening night feature.
Not looking good for that?
I don't know. I do not know. I do know we have you covered over at HRRN. You can listen to the Weekend Stakes preview presented by Naira Bets in podcast form.
Oh, it's supposed to stop raining by 6, but we'll see.
We'll see.
All right. And we'll, of course, be covering Churchill Downs races throughout the entire meeting. They'll be back in action on Tuesday, and we'll be here.
They wrap up June 26th.
I'll be here Tuesday and Wednesday next week before I head
Congratulations.
to Louisville. I'm looking forward to it. Spend time with some of my favorite people. You won't be here,
I won't
but
be here.
all my favorite people that I work with, except for you,
Right.
will be here.
But I'm your absolute
And
favorite.
Johnny I, and there's sporadic.
Well, I'm
others.
your favorite.
No. Anthony, you're everybody's favorite. Let's be honest.
Not everybody.
Race number 1, before we get to my possibly ridiculous pick, and I don't think he's a ridiculous pick. We'll get to him.
Wow.
Well, it is a
This
potential.
guy's bringing lunch and everything. You pick his old horse. It's unbelievable.
Oh, he didn't bring me lunch. I bought my lunch before he checked in with his lunch thing.
Okay.
Obviously, there are some dangerous firsters here, and we'll go in order, starting with the 2 first captain. I saw this horse sell at Saratoga for $1.5 million. This is not a horse that is bred to go short. This is not a horse that I want any part of at all. I wish him the best of luck with it, but America was a slow plotter who got third in some small fields in distance races.
But needed at
Obviously,
least a
Curlin.
mile to do any kind of. I mean, to even hit
mile,
the
she
board.
still
I'm
hadn't
just
finished her
saying,
coffee.
to hit the board, she needed to go at
Mile
least
and an
8
eighth to
furlongs.
start getting her wheels turning.
Yeah.
We'll see. Obviously, they spent a lot of money. I'm sure there were good reports. We'll see what he does getting to his bladed debut. I would guess the most dangerous is probably the 4 Mama Hell for Todd Pletcher. Interesting pedigree. The dam won over $500,000. And Into Mischief for Shadwell for Todd. If I was going to guess for the firster, that's where I'd go. You've gone to Chad Brown's firster.
Yeah, and the only reason I went to Chad Brown's firster
is that you love Chad.
Well, that's not the only reason.
It's one.
And it's not the main reason here. This filly has a little bit more. This colt has a little bit more turf pedigree. And he's running this horse 7 furlongs on the dirt first time out. I know the Spikestown on top is more of a dirt influence, but they turf, they do anything and everything. I thought it was a little curious that he was running this horse first time on the dirt. So
wet track, you got Big Tomlinson.
It's a wet track. I mean, I've tried doing a rain dance. It was a coin flip between the two. It was a coin flip between the two. Mahamel, I would assume, is the dirt, quote unquote, dirt firster in here, and the sprinter. It is 7/8, so it's a little different.
A dirt horse.
Say again.
I wouldn't say that. First Captain has a big dirt pedigree.
Right, but I'm saying sprinting. I added it, sprinting, yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I added the on the end. But yeah, First Captain, and I opened up even money. I don't disagree.
The West Point money comes in early.
I don't disagree with David, though. They're going to see 1.5 million, and I do think this horse will be favored at post time.
Okay, you won a lunch yet. We won bet.
We can bet
just
one
counted
lunch.
The other lunch because the other horse blew the break that badly.
No question.
And by the way, contrary to some opinions, the stewards made the right call. It's unfortunate, but that horse was not hampered by the gate crew at all. That horse caused
my knee-jerk reaction was it was a bad call. I went back and looked. It was absolutely the right call. That horse caused his own trouble, and that is the rule. You cause your own trouble.
Is the bet, by the way, here, the 4 will be a shorter price than the 2 or favored? Let's say shorter price.
Yeah, that shorter price is fine because who knows if
so we're at 70.
Pipeline takes a ton of money
exactly.
that we don't know about.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Todd will end up.
Okay.
Irad Ortiz, the whole factor, we'll see. And that Irad factor has just gotten as out of hand. I've never seen anything like it. Imagine taking 1-5 on that Wesley Ward horse yesterday. How about, there's an argument the horse should have won, but that horse of Chad Brown's the second race with Irad at 4-5. That was a horse that was not 4-5 in multis. And if you look at like the Exacta, came back shorter. I think that horse got drowned in the wind in a way it probably didn't get drowned in other bets, be it the exotics, any of the exotics, vertical or horizontal. Race number 2. Race number 2 on the turf. Well, Anthony's very excited. English Breeze is coming back. We'll take a look at her finishing second 2 starts ago in the 2019 Chelsea Flower, a race that I'll watch over and over and over again.
You love this. One of your favorite contemporary races.
Rare replays that we show, that we're going to show. Don't let us interrupt what you're doing. If you're having your lunch, Francisco, please don't let us interfere with that.
Remember the movie Days of Thunder? Sometimes I feel like it's, remember when Robert Duvall says you could pit, but we're having ice cream?
Anthony, no.
Really?
I didn't see Days of Thunder.
That's terrible.
The shocking thing is that you would have thought I saw it.
That's awful.
We'll make some small talk while Francisco's.
I was just saying that's what I kind of feel like this is.
Sandwich down or something?
That's what I kind of feel it is. Robert Duvall has an ice cream pop and he tells Tom Cruise that he can't pit right now because they're having ice cream.
Do you think when Robert Duvall looks back on his career, he thinks it's sort of the Godfather or Days of Thunder for me, like which role he's more proud of?
Harry Hogue, man. Harry Hogue is a quotable character. It's a good movie, fun movie. It's a popcorn film. I love popcorn, so I love popcorn films.
Okay.
So down a block from Aqueduct. We
don't have that replay.
Yeah. But anyway, speak to me of someone who Andy picked. Came storming home.
All I care about is
17 to 1.
Better.
Yes, 17 to 1.
I don't care about the picking part.
Big price.
Anthony was so excited about English Breeze coming back, and by the way, don't bother anymore. But thank you for trying, and they do a great job. I'm just teasing. But you picked a horse in the dirt last time. Mm-hmm. Good call, by the way.
Thanks.
She's much the worst to beat. I'm not against her, but I'm not picking her at a crate, which is likely to be a very short price.
You see, I don't think she's going to be that short. I think that the Clement horse will take some money as well.
Okay, you can show it, Francisco.
I think she'll be. I think she'll be her morning line.
Thank you.
Maybe 2 to 1. I don't think she'll be under 2 to 1.
I do.
Okay.
Because the problem, I think, isn't. And David Bader 5 he's probably right. Where else do you go in here?
I think the other places to go are.
And we'll get to Classic Colors because we do have a replay as well.
The 2 Clement horses. I think that's who's going to take the money.
You may be right. I see her as a very short price, and I also see her as way the horse to beat. Mm-hmm. So I don't have any real problem with it. I just didn't want to take a horse that was off for a year and a half, a year and a quarter. They gave him a race in the dirt. I don't have a problem with that. Get a race into her, whatever the case may be. I don't know. You just don't know if this horse can really run anymore, and she's going to be a shortish price. She's not probably 2 to 1. We'll see how short she ends up.
I think a lot of people are going to have the same trepidation you're going to have with the long layoff, and can she come back? And listen, it wasn't like she was a world beater when she left us, so.
No, but she is stake face.
She ran
pretty well in those races. I mean, it's not that she ran bad. She ran pretty well. You've got the 2 Clements. I'm not a fan of Pandemon, who sort of got second in a very strange race when the whole field rated last time out. There were only about 6 speeds in that race. And there's Classic Colors, whose replay we do have, hopefully. Here's Classic Colors breaking her maiden in September. And I'm not going to get overly caught up in the figs that horses are running in those races. They'll improve dramatically off those numbers. It's not, you know, she got a very good trip in this race. A very good ride by Joel Rosario, who rode so well, particularly for Clement last year. We'll see. I mean, she can win. I think she is. But Clement's numbers off of these layoffs, I looked at 5 to 9 months. It's like $1.15 ROI and 15%. These horses often need a race, I find, for Clement.
Fair enough.
You know,
so it led you to Magnetique?
Yeah, I mean, as far as Magnetique, here's my argument for Magnetique. There's nothing particularly special about her turf debut. She was too wide in the first turn and rode the rail the rest of the race. That was a time that you wanted to be inside the turf, and that race was dominated both by forward runners and by horses on the rail. So she benefited. She moved the rail in the second turn, got a very good ride by Kendrick. But she wasn't forward, so she was compromised by the race dynamics, but she was on the right part of the turf. My feeling with her is I think there's a very good argument that those horses improved a lot for Michelle Nevin.
I don't disagree with that.
Now, maybe...
And the turf race was off a 7-month layoff.
So maybe this is just a better horse for Michelle, and at least she handles the turf well enough. Now, to be fair, maybe she improved in her first start for Michelle as well, and that's why she ran well on the turf. But I thought if she could show a little bit of improvement off of that race, why is she not a horse that can win this race?
She can.
You know, and she's going to be a much better price, so I put her on top.
If English Breeze does not show up or has not moved forward off her 2-year-old form,
it's not going to take a Herculean effort to
for
win
any
this
of the
race.
3 other horses that we have listed on the screen to win the race. I agree. I agree.
All righty. Race number 3. I'm such a bad friend. At least you put Steve Crist's horse 4th.
I had a tough time with this race.
This is a very, very...
The only horse I threw out was the horse you put on top.
Well, that's just silly, but... you and I have a basic disagreement about the Bond horses. That's fine. I was surprised. I thought you would pick this horse on top, Latin Casino. And I think there is a chance this horse is pretty good. On the other hand, it's not. We'll take a look at Latin Casino's last race. I'm not sure. You know, the problem is that they're all first-time starters. Nobody's come back. I will say Kelly Greenbar has good numbers off maiden wins. Off maiden wins in the dirt, 17 for 60, 28%, 266 ROI.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this horse's debut. Didn't take a dime, right? Kind of. Yeah. I mean, he made the lead, and
he could be okay. He's also the controlling speed on paper.
He is, and I thought about taking him. I don't know. I don't.
And he also,
the last race just confused me.
I wouldn't want to be David and make the line this race, because this is a very, very tricky race to make the line, because they'll probably hone in on a couple of horses, and some people will get lost a little bit. Like, you know, what do you do with Mr. Winston in here? I have him second, you have him third. He was atrocious last time, just atrocious.
He was awful.
Having
now,
said that, he also didn't really
to...
get bet, and it was a speed race.
Bank on Shea
was, with all due respect, Bank on Shea was extraordinarily lucky, because the 3 getting left in there and the 6 not being ridden aggressively, that pace turned into an absolute crawl.
But he still ran well, and he got the job done, and he ran well that day. Oh, Trouble came back to win the condition in the very next start.
Desperately.
Desperately, but still won. Yeah, I didn't know what to do with a lot. I didn't know what to do with Latin Casino. I didn't know what to do with Mr. Winston.
Yeah, Mr. Winston could be last. He could win.
The fact that Chad is sprinting him again. You know, I would assume, I mean, his race against Creed is light years better than anything else.
Let me also say something else. You have to be very careful about that, because there aren't exactly a plethora of races to choose from for this horse. A non-winners of 1 comes up at 7 furlongs. The horse has obviously shown that he can run effectively going shorter. What is Chad going to do? Say, I'm hoping the non-winners of 1 at 1 1/16 that may or may not be in the next book fills, and I'm going to wait for that. He's got to run him. So I think that whole, when you wonder why the horse didn't run or did run a spot, a lot of it, I think, has to do with what races come up. I don't think this is some master plan of Chad.
Chad runs plenty of horses in Kentucky. Could have ran this horse in Keeneland. Could have ran this horse at Churchill. And I don't disagree. I don't disagree with what you're saying.
I think that's the kind of guessing. But that's the kind of guessing that is a massive waste of time, because it really is. Because I would bet you, if I called Chad, he would say to me, The horse ran a month, 5.5 weeks ago. The race came up. He fits in the race. What am I going to do?
Maybe.
I don't think a whole great deal. And he's also Mr. Winston. I don't think he's getting him ready for the Suburban. I could be wrong, but he's a non-winner's a one that's run horribly before a layoff and after a layoff.
Yeah. I don't know what to do with him.
Got to put him in a race. I mean, I don't know either. I have no confidence at all. Won't be surprised when he runs well. Won't be surprised when the 6 wins. Talk about somebody.
You know, somebody's kind of the in-betweener in here, where he's kept some pretty good company. Yeah, the tweener. Well, he's not. It's not really a distance tweener. It's kind of a class tweener where
he fits.
Yeah, he fits.
Fits as much as my horse does.
Well, I don't know about that. I think I think he fits a little bit more. I think that's the point I was trying to make.
He's no faster.
I think your horse is a little cheaper. And I think
but
that was
my
ultimately
horse has dramatically
the problem.
Improved since the claim.
He has. Big time. Two of his best races of his career.
And I think he should be judged on who he is after the claim.
I don't disagree with that.
And I think you're judging him, though, off his career.
I'm not necessarily judging him off his career. I worry about him. The thing I think you need to worry about him is he once had some positional speed. It seems to be gone. And now he's in a race that's dominated, but that doesn't have any speed at all.
That's fair, but Anthony, you've picked a horse that's going to be behind him early.
Oh, I don't think he's going to. I don't think he'll be behind them early.
Yes, he will.
I don't think he will.
Okay, let's bet a lunch on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Louis Cardenas is going to put this horse in the
I don't
game
care.
earlier.
You disagree. I disagree.
Yeah.
I think that my horse will be ahead of your horse.
Okay.
Early. I don't think they'll be particularly close, but I think my horse will be ahead.
Okay.
Because Trevor rates a lot of horses too, right?
No. I'm just
quarter mile into the race. The one will be ahead, barring an incident at the gate. Listen, somebody could win this race. Honestly, every single horse in there could win. Mr. Phil's a bit of a stretch, but at least he's in good form. As far as my horse, the Queen's Jewel, he seems to be a new horse since Chris Engelhart claimed him. He ran extremely well, closing against the heavy favorites, all relevant. Last time he was caught in a race where nobody made up any ground, on a racetrack that nobody was making up any ground, and I thought he actually made a nice run to finish third. He backed up his race. He's run 2 figures that are good enough to win. I mean, as far as the Thin White Duke, who I've left out, the argument for him is he hasn't run now in 6 months. With routine improvement, his high 60 buyers could be mid to high 70 buyers, which puts him at least in league, and he was a pretty good New York bred. So it's not impossible that he makes a run. I don't really like him. I thought he was very unlucky last time. But other than that, he'd gotten good trips to win those races, and this is a tougher field. But I'm not going to be shocked when he outruns his odds here.
I'm also not going to be shocked if he's close to a moderate pace today.
Oh, absolutely. Man, he should put this horse in the game. I totally agree with that.
You know?
I totally agree with that. Absolutely. Manny should absolutely put this horse in the game.
Yeah.
Because he has, now he's got more speed in the turf, but he's got in him
But he's got some speed, yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying he's dueling, but he should look to be forward with him.
I mean, they don't go, like you say, they don't go fast. They don't usually go fast. This race does not figure to have a very fast early pace. I mean, it is
the first day we've been here that there's no wind.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, I'm just saying that, the wind really dramatically affected the paces on opening day. It affected him a bit yesterday. Thought we saw some nice performance yesterday.
I didn't want to take him on top, but I think the horse that must be used is Latin Casino here because of his speed.
Of course.
He's the horse that's the must use on your multi-race tickets.
I wouldn't go overboard knocking any horse.
Me either. Or really
loving anybody.
Correct.
Which is why I kind of like the Queen's Jewels, because she's improved for Chris. I get it. You're not wrong what you say about her possibly being a little cheap for these.
He might just be a little too cheap for them.
I'm not convinced there's anybody here that's really that good.
Latin Casino could also go out here, go gate to wire, and still not really know what kind of caliber he is.
Run fourth.
Right. Because you just don't know. I mean, the race really plays right into his hand.
You'll get an idea if he improves his buyer figure, which he'll have to do to win this race.
He would.
That's the thing about him. He's got to be faster. I mean, he was in front last time, so he's got to be faster. Race number 4, there's going to be a heavy, heavy favorite, and it came to me as we go to the race number 4, and we'll go to the replay of the number 1 High Opinions last race. This is one of these Irad Ortiz horses that I simply cannot pick. And to be fair, it shows you how tough it is for Eric Cancel. What did Eric do wrong with this horse? He gave this horse a great ride to break the maiden, and he gave this horse a great ride in this race, putting the horse in the game. Losing to a horse to win a grade 1 in the next race, and Vigilante's Way won a grade stake in Florida. Now, I understand, by the way, why connections go to Irad Ortiz over Eric Cancel. I might well do it myself. I don't criticize the people that went to Joel Rosario. I think they would have been nuts not to take Joel Rosario for the Derby. But if you're an Eric Cancel, you're saying, what do I have to do? I rode this horse perfectly 2 times in a row, and I can't keep them out. Now, I get it, but it's a frustrating. The guy just won the Aqueduct title.
Listen,
I get it.
You hope that someday
You can steal mounts from people.
Done for you.
Right. I don't, listen, people stole routes from Irad Ortiz when he lost his bug. There's no doubt about it. The only person who truly believed in him was Kieran McLaughlin, who put on a Grade 1 winner.
John Velasquez almost left after he lost his bug and had winters where he almost left New York.
But
so
I get this one. This one, if I was Eric,
frustrating because he did nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong. He actually did a lot right.
Gave him a great ride to break the maiden. Gave her a great ride to break the maiden, and gave her a good ride to get stakes place last time. I don't disagree, but listen, this is the way. This is the game,
and I'm not blaming. If I was Irad Ortiz, I'd take advantage of it too. And if I was his agent and I could get on this horse and push Eric Cancel off, I would do the same thing. And if you didn't, you wouldn't be doing your job. But having said that, this horse ran big last time because probably wants to rate a little bit more. This is on the inner, though. This horse would be better on the Widener. The Widener definitely has been kind to closers. Now, there were some pretty quick paces yesterday, I think, that helped that. And the Wideners, they're firming up a little bit. We'll see if they're almost firm today.
Eric also did a good job last time noticing that the pace was dawdling and just got this horse.
Whether it was him or the connections that put him in there, she's good. I'm not against her. I just feel like she's going to be 3-5 in this race. Stake face, lost to Duopoly, Vigilante's Way. Irad, the way they're betting these days, this horse could be any price.
Yeah, she'll be 4-5. Because
the other thing is, I don't like the horse you have second here, Publication. We'll take a look at her race. I will show a rare bad Chad Brown stat. I can show you a boatload of good Chad Brown stats. There's a bad stat for this horse. And I'll tell you something. I know this horse won. I think this horse beat absolutely nobody in here. And I'll tell you something else about it.
I don't disagree with that.
Are you convinced that this horse, even though she's a Tapit, gets better with more distance? I'm not saying she can't win.
Right. The jury's out. She's lightly raced. She only has 2 races. It does bother me that we haven't seen her, obviously, since Independence Day.
July.
Yeah.
And when you see this stat for Chad Brown, 6-month-plus layoffs off of maiden wins in the turf, that's going to be about the worst stat I've ever seen for the guy.
That's not good. It wouldn't surprise me if she wants to sprint. It wouldn't surprise me if she ends up running 9 miles. Neither would surprise me.
9 miles would actually shock me. No. In fact, 7 would even be a surprise to me.
I'm just, I'm going to use her.
I think the 3 Stolen Holiday is very dangerous.
I don't see. She's the one I don't really trust.
Well, Shug McGay, on the other hand, I didn't put it up, but at 250-plus day layoffs, I should have on Turf Roost. I don't know why I didn't do it, which is kind of skewed a little by a price. But he's 6 for 27 with a 250 ROI, 249, and he's winning at a better percentage. So I thought this was a little bit, a little bit interesting in here. Don't get me wrong. I don't love this horse, but I also thought this horse could be forward. Cherokee Song has some speed. Princess Fozzie has speed. I thought this was a good situation for Jose Ortiz to be a little aggressive, put her on the front end. That race she was in last year, and I know she's another layoff horse. That was a very good field. Those horses are okay.
I was surprised they didn't put her on the lead last year in that race. I'm wondering if they try to do the same thing here and let a Cherokee Song. Listen.
That wasn't a prickly slow pace last year.
Like you, I would put her on the lead. I don't know what the presence of Cherokee Song and more importantly, Princess Fozzie.
Are you a good gate rider?
I'd like to think I'd be a good gate rider.
Is there anything that you'd like to think that you wouldn't do well?
I've told you, jogging. I would not be a good jogger.
But juggling.
I've tried juggling. I can get to 3.
How about riding a unicycle?
I've tried to ride a unicycle, and I've stayed.
I'm glad that you corrected that I've ridden to I've tried. I tried too, and I couldn't do it.
I have decent enough balance for a big guy. I do have decent enough balance for a big guy. I do. I have decent enough balance. There's always a caveat when you're a big guy because it makes you look more impressive. For a big guy, and the guy can move.
I tried to learn to ride because I tried to learn to ride a unicycle. Man, it's not easy, is it? I think you need somebody to teach you that knows how to do it. But a friend of mine lent me one in Saratoga as younger.
Oh, you did this like?
I tried to, yeah.
Oh, no. I had like a pro there with me.
A unicycle pro. Race number 5, smack dab in the middle of the card. And by the way, race number 4 kicks off the pick 6, $1 minimum. Back to the old 15% carryover, takeout when there is no carryover, 24 when there is one. I know there's people out there that would like it to be 24 every day. We're sorry, we're going to offer a lower when there's no carryover. Carryover can compensate. I'm sure they understand the math, or they don't. They say they do. Race number 5. This is. I think you took the wrong Rudy horse here.
I just defaulted. I defaulted to Rudy.
I knew you would default to Rudy, and I gambled that you would take the wrong one. We'll talk about Heavy Roller. Heavy Roller, I don't want. And I hear you. This horse has had 3. This is a good example. This horse has had 3 voided claims and has run very well in the subsequent start after that.
That's the problem. That's the
I'm
problem.
not going to continue on my soapbox because I do not like, I like the concept of it, but I think that's a problem we have in racing. We have good concepts and we don't follow them through as well as we should sometimes. I'm ignoring it from now on. I've seen too many horses have voided claims. They come back and run just fine, and I just think it's another distraction, and I don't need it. Because you tell me how it's helped you. Other than annoying you, how's it helped you?
Well, I can give you the convoluted way where you're right, and it makes sense that they run better after that. If the claim is voided for a soundness issue, in all likelihood, the conditioner is going to work on that soundness issue, correct it, and when they run back, in theory, they should be...
Anthony, let me just say it.
Should be gone.
You make a great point.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
in theory.
I don't like this horse because, A, I know he ran a huge figure last time, and I get it. He runs that figure, he's probably going to win. That was when Rob Attras's horses were all running big figures.
He just kind of sat off the
rail.
Yeah.
Anthony, the field he ran against
Forget
that day,
about it.
he literally he could have done a somersault out of the gate and still beaten that field.
Yep.
That was a 4 to 5 shot that could have been any price whatsoever.
I put him third because of the last two figs. Get him a big piece of this.
I'm not gonna make a speech that he wins.
Yeah, of course not.
I don't want him, and he's going to be short in here. He's got Irad. This horse, by the way, David made him 5-2. He could be 8-5. I don't want any part of him 8-5 in this race, but he can absolutely win. Go ahead, Mr. Roman Union. You bet him last time. You're going to chase him again.
He's the second. This is the horse who, in his race.
Second one. Coming.
This is the second start for Rudy. Second start off a little bit of a break. He's the horse that I think has the representative races in his career.
Not recently.
Not recently, no. But when you get to this, towards the bottom, and you get these head scratchers, I just got to hope that second for Rudy, he's going to be forward. I don't trust some of the others, and he's going to be a good price. I think he's going to be a good enough price today because I think there are a lot of places the money has to go.
Personally, I think the best argument for him is that there is a mild argument, I'm not making a strong one, that maybe you were best off a little bit off the rail in his last race, and he was right down towards the inside. So I think there's an argument that he actually was a little bit against, I don't think it was a dead rail, but I think that's a day that's worth following going forward, and I think that reason he may have run better than it looks, because the reality is, Runabout just ran a much better race than he did. And let's be fair.
Javier Castellano on Runabout, by the way. Junior Alvarado off today.
Junior apparently will be out a week with concussion. So Dave Gannon reported. Fortunately, he'll be missing some mounts in Kentucky next week, but we're obviously very happy to hear that it's not worse for Junior. Pablo Fregoso, did he break his wrist?
Pablo Fregoso broke his right wrist, I believe.
And we hope that Pablo
you know what the best about Pablo
better?
tweets out, he lost 2 teeth, he broke his wrist, but he's fine. How tough are these guys and these girls? He's fine.
I like to abuse them.
Thank God I'm fine.
The toughest, craziest.
Thank God you're fine, but he got a broken wrist.
Right, I agree. But we're glad it isn't worse.
Pablo's a great guy, too. Pablo's fantastic. He used to win a lot of money. The last race, how many times did he win the last race in the winter in 03 and 04?
He is the jockey I would least like to get in a fight with in the backstretch.
Pablo?
Didn't he and another rider have a little fisticuffs at Aqueduct on the backstretch?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Thought it was him. Maybe it wasn't. I'm sorry if it wasn't you.
Thinking about a Royal, maybe?
No, it wasn't him. Anyway, we'll move on. Runabout's in very good form and is obviously logical.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Kumar his last chance. Now, believe me, there is a distinct situation that Kumar simply cannot run. I would bet a lot of money that his voided claim was because he was basically eased last time. I think you lose by a certain amount of claim, so he just have to take him.
25 lengths.
If Kumar wakes up today and he goes, oh, I'm Kumar, he'll lay a herd in this field.
They're in trouble.
And this is a horse who's had excuses in a lot of his races. Having said that, and he even had an excuse 2 back. He was absurd last time, and there is starting to be a question he can run again. But if he can run it all anymore, he'll destroy this field, so I'm going to take him.
Okay.
I couldn't live with myself if I didn't take him.
I think you got to mention Hammer and Hammer, too.
Okay, Hammer and Hammer.
3 of his last 4 wins in a race where a lot of these horses have seemed to lost their form. He's found his. I know he's taking a little bit of
fast pace last time.
Listen, that was that weird track the day of the fog when the first 4 races, the opening quarters, they were blitzed.
I wouldn't know. I was on the train or something, or hanging out with my mom. You were calling. Yeah, I was in Saratoga.
It was the 28th. That's right. Oh yeah. I mean,
Anthony, would you please keep track of my schedule a little bit better? I mean, you really, it's embarrassing. That's why I missed your birthday.
Right. Exalted Charm went 22 and change in the opening quarter. This race went 23-1. There were fast paces early on.
But they also collapsed.
They also collapsed. And this horse,
I know. Listen, you've got to get your Wayne Potts plug in. I get it.
It's not my Wayne Potts plug, but I mean, he's won 3 of his last 4 in a race
do you know
where
what a friend you have
voided claim dropping.
Do you realize the friend that you have? That you will never have a more loyal friend.
You
than
realize
this man.
everybody's dropping it here except I Love Jackson, who I don't particularly care for anymore. Heavy roller off the voided claim, and
King American's even dropping.
Yeah, they're all dropping.
We're going to take a break. We've got 5 more to talk about, and not that much time left.
4 more to talk about.
4 more. We'll be back in a moment.
Make business meetings exquisite. Make a weekend outing exquisite. Make a late night snack exquisite. Make a night on the town exquisite. For nearly 150 years, the Saratoga Spring Water Company has been producing the finest spring water available anywhere. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
By the way, we were remiss in thanking our wonderful sponsors at Saratoga Water. One of us didn't put the bottles up. The other one didn't also, but I don't feel any sense of responsibility.
One of us isn't on America's Day at the races and don't realize that they take the bottles off the set to put them underneath. One of us should put them back on there.
You're not at all bitter about this, are you? Aren't you just proud to have our good friend Adam and Saratoga Water back?
Adam and Carol are the best. Yeah, I mean, look at it. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I mean,
the blue bottle.
State officials drink it. Everybody drinks this stuff.
You know, I was very upset when that thing with Cuomo, when there's a picture of him holding the Saratoga water bottle.
You were so excited. He was so excited.
And Seth Meyer, who I love his show. His show's awesome. But he was talking about it, and he didn't even acknowledge it was a Saratoga.
You were so pumped.
Water bottle. How
Phone exploded. See this? See what happened today?
That was tremendous. Are you kidding me? The blue bottle?
Very excited.
Everybody knows the blue bottle. Race number 6. Who's riding Newsworthy?
That will be Joe Bravo, who's being flown in to ride Casa Creed in the Elusive Quality in race number 8
still picking Newsworthy on top. We'll show his race at Tampa. Listen, I really did look long and hard, and I do want to go through some horses in here, keeping in mind we have to get the show moving along. This horse lost to a horse, Kuramata, who came back and was very impressive, winning his non-winners of 1 for Chad Brown and Peter Brandt. And let me tell you something. This horse got to him, Kuramata, and Newsworthy gave him everything he wanted down the stretch.
Everything.
And I just think he may be better than these horses. I got you picked against him, but I don't want to pick against this horse. I think this horse might actually be pretty good.
Yeah, listen, he can be good.
What do you like about the 8?
I think the horse that beat the 8 last time is going to be Any Kind. That Mod horse was.
I think he'll be a kind.
Ready.
A horse you'll be picking and losing with the next time he runs.
To rumble. This horse has run against Colton's Command. This horse ran against Annex and got beat a length.
He also got beaten 5 lengths at 1-2. It was off the turf.
It's off the turf.
I'm a little worried all the seconds, and he's Irad Ortiz.
I'm not worried about off the turf.
That's got 3 seconds, and he's Irad Ortiz.
That's fine.
He's just going to be dramatically overbet because of the presence of Irad, and he's had his chances. And I think these turf races are going to get much tougher when you get to New York. And I don't think he's faced. I disagree. I think the Newsworthy is better than those horses. We'll see if I end up being right. What's wrong with Caveat Emptor? It's Caveat Emptor, by the way. Race number 7. I mean, I know it was a 5-horse field. This is a fast race. I don't know. I don't think about the horse who won the race. Jimmy Toner. Aren't you excited to see Jimmy on the horse here?
Blinkers went on for this. Blinkers come right off.
Replay, right?
Blinkers come off now.
Camera's on top of him.
Yeah.
I thought this horse ran fine last
Certainly a contender. I thought 6 or 7 horses could win this race, to be honest with you.
Not so sure. Let's quickly some breedings. The 3 Ombre has some pedigree. 3 or 4 to try the turf 1. Maybe Chad Brown's horse. I picked him 4th, but I don't know. The problem I have is he's kind of a slow horse. Chad will prove Union Rag's a turf sire, though. If he proves one thing in this game, he will personally make Union Rags.
40 years ago, we ran slow dirt horses on the turf. We don't do that anymore, but that's why we used to run horses on the turf.
There you go.
Slow dirt horses went to the turf, so maybe this is him. The dam of the 1 lies at 2 is a half to Paula Silver Lining and that whole family.
But it's not turf.
Well,
it's not really turf.
It's a Go Zapper.
The 11 Canby Limby, was compromised by a slow pace last time, a little bit wide. I'm just not sold. I'm not sure.
Of course, that won that race came back yesterday at Keeneland, made a wild middle move and almost got the money.
Really?
Got
horse
beat
was
by
second one for Todd, right?
Yeah.
Or Mott. Second one was Mott. Yeah. Todd won with a horse.
Mott beat Cellist yesterday with Floriform off the layoff. So
Mandatory's got a little bit of turf pedigree. But this is really
and he's an American Pharaoh.
This is a dirt family. I don't know why they're going to turf. Maybe the race just came up, and John thought this race is coming up. I might as well run
and
here.
And he's an American Pharaoh. A lot of the American Pharaohs have taken to the turf.
He ran very well last time. I bet him last time. He ran terrific in his last start. I just don't want this horse in the turf, but he's not an untalented horse, and he's far from impossible here. There's a lot going on in that race. Race number 7. Race number 7. I don't want American Power in here. I'll get him the winner's circle. I don't want this horse.
No American Power at all?
No, I don't want this horse. I know he's in great form.
He's in great form and he's loose again.
I don't agree. First of all, they made a serious mistake looking at bikinis last time. He's got the rail. The last thing they should look to do is take him back. American Power is not that fast, Anthony. He's been in front because the paces have been slow. He's not really that fast a horse.
Well, the pace 3 back was fast enough.
No, it wasn't, Anthony. It really wasn't. This horse is not very fast. I'm telling you, he's
not.
By the way, you know who's faster than him?
Yeah, my horse.
Yeah,
I know that, but they don't put my horse on a lead.
Well, who's riding your horse?
That'll be Manny Franco. Manny Franco's on the 4.
Manny? Hey, by the way, Manny, this day's a good day to be aggressive.
And that's part of the reason I picked this horse. I have to imagine.
Well, you're supposed to pick him. You took him in the Carter.
I took him in the Carter and he ran well. He's going to be right off. I think he's going to be right off the pace. I think he's going to be right off the pace.
I think he should be right on.
He's supposed to be.
If Javier isn't going on the rail with looking at bikinis, I'm going to call up Chad and yell at him. Okay, on the air.
That was frightening. That was frightening last time.
Yeah,
Hog Creek Hustle was in front of this horse last time.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bad
My mind
plan.
was completely blown.
I've loved this horse. I mean, he's actually one of my better Travers pick. He actually beat a horse. Ran better than Raison d'Etat did.
Raison d'Etat, wow, that's an oldie but goodie.
Red hot. They should be in my obituary.
Angel Penna, right?
Yeah, the day I picked the last place finishers in consecutive Travers, I picked Cool Blue Red Hot against
Saratoga's own.
Against Uncle Mo and the horse I love, Caleb's Posse, who I'd picked the time before. I picked Cool Blue Red Hot. Yeah,
Stay Thirsty.
I'm a genius.
Stay Thirsty won that Travers,
I
right?
picked him second. I knew he was the horse to beat. I just took a shot with Raison d'Etat. That one I'm not as embarrassed by. Picking Cool Brew Red Hot, who I had...
Rattlesnake Bridge second to Stay Thirsty.
That's correct. That's a good call. Kieran, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this race I think it's a better field of horses. I think it's a different dynamic for him. You and I disagree. That's fine. And by the way, I have no argument with your horse. I think your horse is very dangerous there. Listen, look at bikinis can win. This horse is a 5-year-old now. He's obviously but lose with him the way you're supposed to lose with him. Lose on the front end. Don't lose being cute. That would be my opinion. Listen, I think Mios can win this race. I know he's on the rail, but he did run off the rail in the stretch. And the thing about Mios is very good. He's just inconsistent. But when you can tell me if he shows up and runs as good race he ran last time, he has no chance to win.
No, not at all.
Pretty good.
See, but here's where you and I agree and disagree. I'm not saying American Power is that fast, but he has gone out in his last 3 races, and he's been forward.
This is a more competitive situation.
Whether it's more competitive or not, he's going to be forward again. And we see, more often than not, we see one guy go, and the other guys don't.
Not today. Not today. If it happens and he actually wins this race, I'm happy to lose. I hear what you're saying, and you know how I feel about it. I'm the one who lectures you about the paces.
It's like I'm starting to learn and you're starting to go the other way about it.
Anthony, this field is full of better horses than he's been running against.
Whether they're better, I don't necessarily disagree with that.
Horses and there are better horses.
I don't know if I disagree with you.
Mios, Super Stonehenge, and Wicked Trick are all better than the horses that he's been running with. I think he's like somebody who's been playing JV and he gets into the varsity and suddenly looks around and everybody's a lot taller than he is.
Andy, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but
you do disagree, which is fine.
We're banking on other horses going when this horse has 3 consecutive races full of ones.
You're not listening. We have a completely different opinion here, which is fine. It doesn't make me right and you're wrong. We're not going to agree.
No, we're not going to agree.
We'll see what happens on the racetrack. Yeah. I have no problem with completely disagreeing. That's what racing's about. But we disagree.
In my head, I think the horse has to.
I would never want to be. Never, ever, ever want to
be. Let me in. No shot.
Meeting John Bauer. There should be what is it?
Being Anthony Stabile.
Being Anthony Stabile.
Being the Big A. That'd be great.
The greatest ever. What highway you get you dumped off?
It would just involve a lot of poker
the,
games and pizza parlors.
It's a lot of evil thoughts in there.
American Power. If you think he's going to, if you think
I think we've addressed
fastest,
the situation. I like Wicked Trick in this race. I know that he's a horse that's a little pace dependent. I think this race is going to be run much more fairly than you do. We'll show Wicked Trick's last race. Maybe you say this race fell apart a little bit. Maybe he just ran against the flow of the race. When Wicked Trick gets good,
I got a lot of love for Wicked Trick.
Very, very good.
I have a lot of love for him.
I think there is an argument based on his last 2 races that he's gotten back into form for Linda Rice. He drew well in here. I thought he'd be a fair enough price, and I thought he could get the job done. I don't love him. I like his chances in here. I think this is a very interesting race.
Rattled off 6 in a row, end of 2019 into early 2020.
Back into form for Linda.
Needed the, you could even argue maybe he needed to race off the layoff. He ran giant off the layoff, and then he's never really been, a fast horse on wet tracks. He handles it. He's better on fast ground.
No, dry ground.
Better on dry ground.
I don't know about that. His 101 Byers on the track with moisture in it, but okay.
I think his career has just been better on. But he's.
I think he's just a good horse.
He can, and he's going to be the right price because they're going to see
race
the 4-stake face and the whole thing.
I thought the Elusive Quality came up just a great. I love these 7 furlong and mile turf races.
I think this is the only race we agree today.
Belmont Park was built for mile and 7 furlong turf races on the Widener. I mean.
Bobby Newman asked me a question yesterday. Do I consider the mile races on the turf here sprints because they're one turn? I said no, because it's a mile.
They're fair races.
They're fair races.
Belmont, I love the Widener turf course for the 7 furlong and mile races. I think they are.
You can go ahead, Francisco. Race 8.
We'll take Francisco is so excited about the 7th race, he just doesn't want to move on. As far as Front Run the Fed, this is a race where Manny Franco needs to seize the bull by the horns, frankly, and be aggressive with proven strategy and put a little distance on you. Front Run the Fed's supposed to be the one that comes calling. I don't know that he's better at 7 furlongs than he is in shorter races because he should have won against Imprimus. He ran the best race, and Imprimus was terrific. And I'm going to tell you something. See, if Ivan a little short, it wasn't Javier's fault. This horse got stuck in a lot of traffic. There's nothing Javier could do last time. And this horse could have been much closer in the Breeders' Cup. I just think he's going to be as you like to say, the first horse that comes calling, and he's good. I'm not saying he has to win here, but he's good.
The most important part of everything you didn't say it. They're playing his game today. Mm-hmm. They're all playing his game.
And it's not sure that he's not as good as anybody in this race, save maybe Casa Querida we'll get to.
But they're playing Front Run the Fed's game. They are sprinting. All of these other horses, they've run with a little bit more ground. That's not to say they might not appreciate the cutback. We know we can sprint. Well, what?
Well, actually, I'm going to say the value proposition's great at 7. Casa Querida will be great at 7.
But they haven't done it yet.
Seismic Wave is better with less distance. 7 and a mile are the same race. I'm going to have to. You and I are in a very different.
I just asked you if you thought they were a sprint. You said no.
They're very different races for sprinters, but for horses that close at a mile, the 7 furlongs is just as good, if not better, because it will enhance their kick.
That theory can be put to use today if Manny Franco does what you suggested.
Manny needs to put distance on this field.
This horse, and you know what? I don't particularly like him, but this horse can win.
Give him his best chance to win?
If he's 3 in front of this field,
or be third?
If he's 3 in front of this field, and he's not going to have to go that fast to get 3 lengths on this field.
Don't let the field into the race. The 5/16
no, don't let him into the race.
Have to make a run to get to you.
Listen, if you get beat in this race, you should get beat stopping. You're stopping and horses are just rolling by you.
There was no variation. If you open up 3 or 4,
no reason to get beat in this race.
And the horse runs badly, it's not on the rider.
Don't get beat in a stretch. Don't get beat in a stretch duel. Get beat with them rolling by you because you tried to win.
This race, or we'll run out of time here. As far as Casa Querida, I'm just going to be honest. I just think he's a very good horse, and this is a good field. But he's probably getting some class relief, right? If I'm going to beat him in here,
no question about it.
Pretty darn good. And I tease Lee a lot, and he's taking shots in big spots with this horse. He hasn't won, but he hasn't been wrong.
He's hit the board in half his starts on over almost $500,000. He's tried some tough races. He doesn't.
And he's not
he
slow.
never gets beat a pole.
And he's not slow. He's going to be forward here as well.
He's the horse that when you look at the foreman here, you would say to yourself, man, this 7/8 might hit this horse right between the eyes. 7/8 might be what this horse wants and needs to do. And yes, I think save Front Run the Fed. At the distance, he's getting some class relief.
See,
Sprinting, I should say.
We'll look at Therapist, and this is the only time Therapist ran 7 furlongs last year, and he's such a good horse that he even won that mile race in the Artie Schiller 2-back at a mile, and he's really a one-turn. This horse was built to run one turn.
Belmont Park.
And he just didn't get many chances especially because of the pandemic yesterday that hurt him. He should have been disqualified in this race. My problem with him is, and he's a good horse, I don't want to knock him, and listen, the buyer figures are going to disagree with me. I think this is a better, tougher group that he's run against before.
And not only that.
I think this is a really, really
strong
group.
I think the lack.
I have to drink this.
Go ahead. If the race is run how we think it should be run, he has a much better chance.
By the way, I do drink Saratoga.
He has a much better chance than if the race is run how it will likely be run. Because he needs some pace. And when he has to lay closer, he's nowhere near as effective as he is when he's allowed to sit and rip from the back of the pack.
I'm gonna slightly disagree with you. I really think one of the great things about turf racing and turf racing at 7 furlongs and a mile here is, while pace is always going to be somewhat important, it's more important if you're a forward horse and the pace gets hot and then you can't be effective. I don't think pace is that significant a factor in a race like this. I don't think, and that's why I think that even though May's supposed to be aggressive, I think that's why even if he goes a little too fast, if you put distance, it's helpful to him. I think that Therapist gets a chance to make his run in here. I'm just not sure he's good enough because take Value Proposition. I know Value Proposition, he's a little bit faster early, but the thing about him is he's more of a runoff. And we'll actually look at the poker last year, and it's a good example of it, where he finished 3rd and Seismic Wave finished 2nd. Value Proposition had an outside post in all 3 of his races. And in the poker, he sort of dragged Irad into the race. You don't see Irad ride like this. He dragged Contreras, was way too close in the wood by mile. I don't blame him. This horse is an outside post. He gets that clear C in front of him. And I think he's just a weird horse. He turns his head. Now he drew the rail. Just bury him in there.
With the speed right to his outside.
Just bury him in there.
Yeah.
Listen, maybe he gets blocked. Maybe he doesn't get. There's plenty of time to get out. He's got when you've got.
This guy gets out of. This guy's like Houdini, though. He gets out of every spot there is.
Joel Rosario gets out of everything as well. That's what good riders do.
That's what they do.
The reality with him is, though, regardless, I'd rather have the rail and bury him in there and get a little unlucky than have an outside post and have him run off on me and have no chance to get
You've already
lucky.
seen what happens when he runs to daylight. It's not very good.
I'll say something about Seismic Wave.
Yeah.
This horse's best races are going these one-turn races at Belmont. He got beat a length by the Therapist last time trying to run, okay? He ran down front run the Fed going a mile in the English Channel. These are the races this horse should be running. Now, I'm not blaming Bill Mott because these races didn't really exist for him last year, but this is the race. I firmly believe that when Chad Brown bought this horse, let me finish. Chad Brown bought this horse saying, I want to run him a mile and 7 furlongs at Belmont Park. You can close your mouth. This is where I want to run him. That doesn't mean he's going to win, but I'll tell you something. If he's 12-1, he'll outrun his 12-1.
And he has the benefit, unlike last year, of a race under his belt and not coming into this off of, not that Chad don't get him ready, that was Bill back then. Bill gets him ready as well.
Chad Brown doesn't get them ready.
Not that he doesn't.
You're an educated man.
We're at the racetrack.
We have an educated audience.
Anyway, what I'm trying to say is,
gotcha.
He has the benefit of a race under his belt now.
Well, a race in a silly turf.
Doesn't matter. He has a race under his belt.
Race number 9. We'll take a look at Me and Sap, who gets in. He took a lot of money last time. He can win this race. I get it. I don't want this horse.
I got him 4th.
I got him 5th. I get it.
He was 2 to.
I want fuzzies.
He was 2-1 last time, and I thought he outran. He ran much better than I thought he was going to run on the turf.
No, me too. I thought he was a horrendous bet last time.
Awful.
He was a losing bet, but he actually ran fine.
Yep.
No, I don't disagree.
In contention at the 8th
horses
hole.
That beat him got better trips. I got no problem with that. Go on with Med School, Michael. I have 3rd.
So it's a handful of turf winners.
It's a half to Wild William.
Wild William. Yeah, I got it.
Probably a better turf. Well, he's a Freud. Yep. This is a Verrazano, so
showed speed in the mud. He's got the Verrazano influence on the turf. He showed speed in his debut. He also took a little money in his debut.
He's interesting.
Yeah,
I totally agree. He's in there.
I want to take a shot at the price.
I'm going to use Ratchet, who kind of ran off last time, and I don't think this horse ran as badly as it looks. We'll see if they can harness his speed a little bit more. I think Ratchet's going to run okay. Strong Desire, I don't think they ran that badly, not that well, but met some tougher fields last time. I'm going to use him. They're sort of the 3 I want. Oh, you know what? And I'm going to use a little Freudian analyst. Maybe he used race off a layoff last time. Wasn't off a layoff.
Paint the Edges has a little back pedigree too. Half the Sandy Slough.
Yeah, but the
Sandy
problem
Slough.
with
It's been a
that
while.
is the problem with that is that Sandy Slough sticks out like a sore thumb.
No.
Sandy Slough's I mean, as far as yours, Med School, Michael, that horse after 3 turf winners and they were runners. Paint the Edges, he's a painter. Sandy Slough was a, you know, the sire of Sandy Slough?
I didn't write it down.
Tell me on Twitter without looking it up who the Snow will get it.
Listen.
Limehouse.
Wow.
Limestone. Limehouse.
Limehouse.
Thinking of
the Dogwood horse. Limehouse. Limehouse.
Okay.
4th in the Derby behind Smarty Jones, Lionheart, and my pick that year, Imperialism.
Not one of the 31. All right. This was fun. I'm looking forward. Now I'm even more excited about the
Last
card.
one for you tomorrow for a while. The Wolfman joins me on Thursday.
I've heard that. It's okay.
I don't know who's filling in for me Saturday. I'll be at Mohegan.
Anthony, nobody can fill in for you. Head over to Naira Bets.
Maybe
if you're not a member of Naira Bets, use the promo code Derby25. We'll match the $200 of your initial deposit, as well as giving you a free $25 Derby bet. Keep the money in the game. Play through Naira Bets. Cross Country Big 5. 3 at Belmont. It's a triple-decker sandwich. Oaklawn is the meat. Belmont is the bread. Don't miss that. All on America's Day at the Races, which, by the way, Anthony, I don't know if you know this, will be on FS2 from 1 to 11. We will not be covering Chatine. I know you're disappointed, but
not
we will
me. Phil's
be covering.
Phil's angry.
Phil's in Vegas. He's fine. We'll be covering Belmont.
Phil is in Vegas. Phil's probably watching.
And
Hi,
Churchill.
Phil.
Think you got him to turn the sound up?
Anything in my bottom? No, that's empty.
We're done. We want you to have a wonderful day and enjoy
of course the sound's
melodious tones of John Imbrial with a reprise of the Scratches and Changes in just a few moments.